There are 3 easy steps in creating your resume link. Let me show you how.
Step 1. Register. Go to www.jobs180.com using any browser and click Register Now. Fill out all the information needed. In choosing your resume link, use your full name so that it looks professional and it's easy to recall by potential employers. For example, Antonio Juan de la Cruz.jobs180.com. Step 2. Create and design. When creating your resume, make sure to complete your personal information and upload your profile picture. One of the highlights of the resume link is the portfolio section. In the portfolio section, you can show off your skills by uploading samples of your work like documents, pictures, videos, and your social media links.
Your resume link also features different themes and you can upload a cover photo. This is a combination of a cover letter and a social network cover photo. Here is an example. You can also download a copy of your resume link and print it. Step 3. Apply for a job. There are many ways to apply with your resume link.
First is browsing the job recommendations in your Jobs 180 dashboard.
If you're qualified, click Submit Resume Link. So what are you waiting for? Dress up your next generation resume, stand out brightly among the competitive job seekers in the market, and win the heart of your future employers using Resume Link.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Jobs180.com's Marketing Me Live at Rizal Technological University. So today we will be joined by speakers from ADP Philippines, PSG Global, and Opto. So before we start, may we invite everybody for the opening prayer, followed by singing of the national anthem and RTU March.
Here below. mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang mag-ibig, ewas ng sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng mag-ibig, sa mandulupin, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang tutok sa simoy at sa langit mo pagaw, ay hinatang tulad, awit sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iingin, ang bituin at araw niya kailan ang ay di magtitingin. Luman ang araw ng walhagit pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya na pagkay mga aking, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. RTU, beloved RTU, will be forever true to the golden blue. Forever true to the golden blue. Raise the banner golden blue, keep it flying high. Symbol of our pledge to you to serve our people. Give the best of what we have, talent, skills, and strength. Offer every honor back to God and country, to God and country. RTU, beloved RTU, will be forever true to the golden blue. Forever true to the golden blue. Every knowledge we have gained, every skill we learn, and the values that we form will be our treasures. We shall meet here years from now, full of pride and joy. Break this code and nurture us and shape our future, and shape our future. RTU, beloved RTU, will be forever true to the golden blue. Forever true to the golden blue. RTU, beloved RTU.
Alright, so again, welcome everybody. Ready na ba kayo? So by the way, my name is Joyce from Academic Linkages and I'll be your today's host. And we are live via Facebook and YouTube. So we hope that everybody is excited to learn new things today. Okay, so to officially start today's session, may we invite Professor Ricardo N. Nasuli, member of Board of Regents from RTU for his opening remarks.
To our hardworking Cooperative Education Director, Engineer Armando Matias, our esteemed guest from Jobs 180, headed by Mr. Kim Chua, to our resource speakers, fellow coordinators, dear students, a blessed morning. We would like to welcome everyone on the second webinar series sponsored by our esteemed guest from Jobs 180. Indeed, there's no stopping, rain or shine, on our quest for learning, no matter how hard the situation may be. The Cooperative Education Department continuously work hard to find ways and innovative measures to prepare you, our dear students, to have a competitive edge with other learning institutions, not only in terms of technical know-how and other work competencies relative to your field as the workplace may require, but also to the readiness prior to your joining to the corporate world that befits you. Extraordinary time requires extraordinary measures, as they say. Thus, we need to take a more holistic approach to improving our school program to meet the challenges of time, especially during this pandemic. Today's webinar topics: enhancing communication skills, hiring in the new normal, motivation and productivity, I'm sure will definitely help everyone to give extra confidence in finding themselves on their next journey after graduation or even earlier depending on the situation or if time warrants. So, without so much ado, let's now hear and learn from the experts. Happy listening and have a fruitful day, everyone. Again, good morning and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. So, as usual, for the RTU students, we'd like to know where you're from. So, please comment your name, your year and strength, or type in your questions so we can ask them later po after the talk. So, lahat ng may questions, wag kayo mahiya. This is the time. This is the perfect time para i-ask lahat ng mga gusto nyo i-ask sa mga speakers natin since nag-graduate na kayo at nagtatrabaho na. Okay? So, don't forget to share this to your friends too. So, kung wala pa sila rito, sabihan nyo na. You may watch now. And please like also and share this post. So, here is our schedule for today. So, we have enhancing communication skills, which will be discussed by ADP Philippines. Also, we have hiring in the new normal by PSG Global Solutions and motivation and productivity by Opto. Okay, so again, shout out to everyone who is here. Now, again, please comment your name and your year. So, as we go along, type in your question so we can read it later. Alright? Okay, so kilalatin na po natin ang ating unang speaker. So, for our first speaker, so she's the HR business partner of ADP Philippines. So Miss Kat has been with ADP for 9 years and 5 months. She is currently an HR business partner, but also has a decade of experience in training and development. Her most notable achievement, career-wise, is her certification in New Jersey to facilitate MDP Management Development Program. And Miss Kat was married in Istanbul to her Turkish husband in 2017. She is an animal advocate and has four beautiful dogs. Right? So, again, the HR business partner of ADP Philippines, Miss Kat Herrera.
Everybody, good morning, or as we say in Turkish, iyi günler, or good day. Thank you for inviting us here. My name is Kat Herrera, and I'm one of the HR business partners at ADP Philippines. Based on the introduction, you already know I've been with ADP for almost a decade, and on top of that, I have under my belt 10 years as well, or more than a decade of experience in the talent and learning and leadership development sphere or world. You might be wondering, what is an HR business partner or what does ADP do? Well, before I start with my piece on communication skills, I'm going to tell you very briefly what we are and what we do. So, ADP is one of the world's largest providers of business outsourcing solutions. We're a human capital management company, and mostly we deal with our clients' HR services. So we were established in 1949. That's a long time. And as you can see, ADP is a very stable company. The founder was Henry Taub, and the headquarters was in Roseland, New Jersey. This is where I was in 2014. I was very fortunate enough that the company sent me there to undergo the MDP, or the Management Development Program certification. And I was in awe. I was really in awe. One of the highlights of my career was going to the headquarters in New Jersey. Now, our brand narrative is very simple. We are a combination of thinkers and doers. From local businesses to global corporations, ADP develops advanced and sophisticated systems. So we're not only an HCM or a human capital management company, we also focus on tools and technology because we know, especially in this world, technology is a critical thing to have in a company for us to succeed and for us to stay current and not get left behind. We reinforce our relentless determination to rethink a better, more personalized world at work so everyone can achieve their full potential. And we are always designing for people. But do not get confused, guys, because ADP does not stand for always designing for people. Always designing for people is our logo, but ADP means automatic data processing. That's who we are as a brand. When I talk about HCM, you might still wonder, what is HCM anyway? We're not so familiar with that. It just means that we take care of our of services for our clients from retirement to from recruitment to retirement. We handle payroll, taxes, timekeeping and attendance. We also do the benefits system, IT, and compliance. So in a nutshell, we stand as the HR for our ADP clients. And the mission really is to power organizations with insightful solutions that drive business success. And the vision would be to be the world's authority on helping organizations focus on what matters. We want to make it easier for our clients, and we take on the grunt work, so to speak, so that they can focus on really the big picture for their businesses, which is to grow, right? Why choose ADP? We offer three things that are critical for a company. We offer growth, stability, and culture. We all know that times are different now. We're living in challenging times and unprecedented times. But still, even when the pandemic started last year, ADP was still able to exhibit growth, stability, and of course, we never ever forgot the culture that we have established, especially here in the Philippines. And we will talk about that later on. For the details or fun facts from us, we spent more than $818 million in research and development alone. What does that mean? ADP is invested on its people. 60% was invested in innovation, and there are innovation labs in New York, New Jersey, California, and India. I hope I'm not going too fast because I just want to maximize the time, but later on I assure you that we're going to have time for Q&A. We are the industry leaders. How do we exhibit that? We have 37 million workers in the US who are being paid by ADP. So one in six employees would be paid by ADP and 13 million elsewhere. We also have more than 10 million workers plus 5 million dependents administered benefits. And only in 2020, we have moved, imagine this number, 2.2 or more than 2.2 trillion US client funds. That is huge. We're also considered as the number one app for human resources, and we have more than 18 million mobile app subscribers. We also have more than 90.8% of annual client retention, and average tenure for our clients is 10 years, which means that they're very loyal to us. Because ADP is not the cheapest, but we do pride ourselves in being one of the best in payroll and HR. So our clients stay with us for no less than 10 years. We have 860,000 over clients worldwide, and over 75% of those clients are in the Fortune 500 companies. I'm sure that you know what Fortune 500 is. But not only do we have Fortune 500 clients, over 80% of them are Fortune 100 companies. So if this does not display growth and stability for you, then I don't know what would, right? We have also 140 countries that we are serving, and we have 50 or more than 58,000 clients or associates rather worldwide. And 30 languages are spoken to provide service and support. So we are indeed worldwide. Financial stability, we move on then to stability and resources. We are considered double A, or we have been rated double A by Moody's S&P. What is that? It's a rating body and in the US, and it just means that really ADP is a reliable company because we have minimal long-term debt, which means that investors bank on us being able to pay off the minimal debt long-term debt, and not only that, to sustain the business. So we're not going to go bankrupt even if there are unforeseen factors or like the pandemic that happened last year. Since 1974, dividends have been paid to shareholder continuously. And we had just again in 2020, there was a revenue of $14.6 billion. Just do the math and compute that, and you would know how much that is in pesos. We are not only after revenue, though. We are definitely very big on our values. And we have demonstrated this time and time again. When the pandemic started, definitely we have displayed and exhibited each person counts because we made sure at the start of pandemic, we even provided hotel accommodations and shuttle services to our employees. But because their health is of paramount importance, then we made sure that everybody transitioned to working from the office, from working to the office to working at home. We really take care of our employees. We believe that integrity is everything. We also bank on insightful expertise, service excellence, inspiring innovation. We are results driven. And one fact that I'm very proud of, we are very responsible socially. We have a lot of partnerships with nonprofit organizations, and we make sure that we always give back to our community. That's it for the core values, but I also want to share with you some of our awards that we've gotten in the most recent years. We are, of course, part of the Fortune World's Most Admired Companies in 2021, this year. It's very recent. And all of those, like for LGBT, we are very big on equality, and we make sure that we are also diverse. Everybody is welcome at ADP. That's why we also want to strengthen our ties with our school partnerships, because other companies might say, I need 2 years of experience, I need 3 years, and so on. But for us, we believe that we would like to encourage fresh graduates to apply because we want to be a part of your growth. We want to be a part of your career journey. So we would like to give you that experience that other companies are always looking for. Now, before we go on, that's the end of my presentation. I told you it was going to be very brief about the company. And again, if you have questions, you can park that for later. So now we go to the great stuff, which is communication skills. Because as students, I know that you might be a bit apprehensive about your interviews and your resume building, but those have already been talked about earlier. Now we need to make sure that you have the proper skills, that you are ready when you apply for a job. And communication skills is one of the most important tools that you will have, not only when applying, but throughout your entire career. Because let me tell you, knowledge and technical skills would only get you so far. You would always need communication skills to back it up, not only to get hired, but also to get further ahead, to get promoted, or maybe to get to a different function or business unit. And for communication skills today, we're going to talk about the ways to communicate more effectively. And of course, I want you to focus on the practical steps to level up your communication skills. I'm sure that you've seen the 4 communication skills already in your time at school. You have your thinking, listening, speaking, and the nonverbal. One would be or one is equally as important as the other. You can't say that, oh, hey, Kat, I'm going to focus on my thinking skills for now. No, all of those should work hand in hand. You have to apply critical thinking, and then you have to know how to put that in words. But then you also have to listen attentively to make sure that you didn't forget anything, or to make sure that you understood what the question was. And for nonverbal, we all know this is very important with whatever communication you're in, be it face to face or be it online. Now, with online learning, online interviews, things are pretty much the same. The only thing is that you're not in front of your interviewer in person, right? But they would still be able to see you because we have a lot of tools for that. So nonverbal is still equally as important now, even before, right? Now that we're talking about the communication skills, you might be wondering, why should I even pay attention to this? Or why should I invest time making sure that I hone my communication skills? Well, these are some of the benefits and these are some of the factors. As you can see, if you have great communication skills, you would also be quick in problem solving because if you did not understand, if you only heard, there's a very big difference between hearing and listening because hearing would just be you processing the sounds. But if you understood the meaning, then you can definitely say that you listened very well. And one thing when it comes to active listening, I would stress we have to practice the art of listening not to reply, but listen to understand. I know most of the time you have a lot of distractions. It always happens. And we're focused on listening, but only because we want to make sure that we are able to reply appropriately. But what happens when you're too focused on what you want to say next? You might be missing what the interviewer is saying, and you might misinterpret it or interpret it in a different way. So really focus on the interviewer. Do not just take keywords and then assume what they mean. Really focus, pay attention, and listen attentively because that's how you would be quick in problem solving. That's how you would be able to give the right responses and the appropriate answers during the interview. Strong decision making, absolutely. If you are not at par or if your communication skills is subpar, let's say, then definitely that would affect your decision making because you wouldn't have understood the problem. Not only that, you would not be able to communicate effectively with the people in your team or with your supervisors. Other than that, you also have productivity. Yes, because if you again lack in this department, then definitely you would have problems with other metrics such as average handling time when taking in calls, right? And first call resolution, quality, especially customer satisfaction. We're very big on that in the BP or KPO industry. You also would display consistency in the workflow. If you have great communication skills, you would definitely build strong relationships. Because you know what? If you are a great speaker, you would have a fabulous reputation. People would admire you, people would look up to you. And thus, you are able to build your network, right? You have better control of everything in your surroundings, yes, be it personally at home or at work. Definitely you'd have better control if you can communicate it better. And of course, with the skill, like I mentioned earlier, people would respect you, so you would build an advanced professional image. People would think of you when somebody needs someone who can speak in front of the audience, they will definitely think of you first. And that would build your reputation. Better response from all stakeholders? Yes, because if you have great communication skills, people would trust you. The clients would trust you. And that is very critical in this business. If the client doesn't trust you, then they would not listen to any advice coming from you. Even if you know everything, if the client doesn't believe you, then all that's going to be for naught. It's for nothing. So this is why we have to make sure that we build on your communication skills as early as when you are studying, right? It cannot be just when you're about to enter the workplace. So let's see the practical steps, like I mentioned earlier, on how to communicate effectively. It all starts with listening, not only attentively, because that's what we always say, but you also have to listen with empathy. Not only do you have to listen to understand, you actually have to display some empathy and think about the situation and put yourself in the other person's shoes. I'm sure you've always heard of that, but really, trust me, it is very effective, especially in the workplace. If somebody calls in and they're already very upset, they're already asking for a supervisor, the tendency is if you are a newbie, you somehow get flustered, you somehow get rattled, and you panic. Or you take it personally and you react like, hey, you become defensive. Why is this person shouting at me? I did nothing wrong to him. That's the first thing that you have to understand. It is nothing against you personally, but there are certain factors that you're not able to see, the hidden dimension of the client, so to speak. Maybe they lost a beloved pet. Maybe they're feeling sick that day. Maybe they really stood in line for 4 hours doing the grocery shopping. You don't know. So, what you can do is to pause, process it, and think about what the client might be going through. Think of how inconvenient it was when you had to wait for a representative when you called Smart, PLDT, or Globe. Because that's what the client was feeling. And if you're able to put yourself in their shoes, you'd understand them better, which would make you respond with empathy. It would make you be more patient. It would make you be more willing to help. And when you do that, then you're able to calm and appease the client. You just don't go head to head, but actually you're able to make them cooperate and make them participate and listen to you so that you'll have a more productive conversation and you'll be able to arrive at the resolution of the problem. That's why it is important to listen with empathy. You don't always have to say sorry because it's not your fault. It's not your fault if they had a bad day. But you can display that, hey, I'm sorry that you're going through this, or I really feel bad. I'm sorry for your loss. Right? I cannot imagine. If you haven't been in this situation, you can just say, I can only imagine how tough it is losing a partner or a child, knock on wood, right? So those are the empathy words that you can use instead of just saying, I'm so sorry to hear that. Because if you say, I'm so sorry to hear that, it's very canned. It's a template and it almost does not add any value if you just say it like that. If you make it personal, if you make it customized, then you can let them know there's an implication there that, hey, I really listen to you and I'm here for you. I will be helping you during this call. That's how you listen with empathy. Once you have listened with empathy, it's always important that you also assert yourself. By assertion, I don't mean aggression. Let's be very clear on that. Aggression is very different, and we do not encourage you to be aggressive. We only want you to assert yourself, meaning that you have to take ownership of each and every call. Take ownership as well if something comes up, if there's a very difficult problem, do not hide behind your tools. Do not just focus on chatting because most things are better resolved in person. So if there's one thing that you would need to clarify or if there's a problem that you need to solve, you have to go up to the person. Take the initiative to talk to the person in face to face if possible. If not, then go on video call or video conference. But don't just hide behind your screen or your keyboards. You know who they are, right? The keyboard warriors. Do not be just a keyboard warrior. Be assertive. Know what you want to say. Know every time there's a problem, you always have to come up with at least two options, right? You have to be problem solvers, not just problem bringers. Because if you just bring a problem to your supervisor without any alternative, without any solution, then that defeats the purpose of critical thinking. You have to be able to assert yourself, start up the conversation. You have to also do this when you're networking. It's very critical because every person that you meet at work, you might be able to work with them in the future. So always make sure that you are confident enough to speak up. Because again, even if you have the best of ideas, if you're not able to articulate it, if you're not able to stand up for yourself and say it, then nobody will hear it. Nobody will hear your great ideas, even if you're the next Einstein, right? That's why communication skills are so crucial and important in the workplace. So let's say you've already spoken up. Let's talk about your tone, pitch, volume, clarity, and rate of speech. These are all equally important because you have to adjust and match your tone, volume, and rate of speech based on the person that you're talking to. If, for instance, an old lady comes to you and you take the call, definitely you would not be advised to speak so fast because for old people, they tend to want you to pace yourself slower. you have to adjust. Make sure that you're not using jargon, especially with technical issues. If they have a problem with their computer, with their cell phone, you have to use the most basic words. There are no need for highfalutin words. You do not need to impress them with your language and vocabulary. All you need to do is stick to basic terms that they would understand. Adjust your tone, your volume, because they might not be able to hear you if they're already very old. And the rate of speech is very important because you have to know that they are able to follow you. Now, when it comes to clarity, clarity of your voice is also very important when speaking with clients. You cannot be very timid. This is why confidence is so important, because if you're timid, then the client would hear that from your tone as well. If you do not know what you're saying, if you're not confident, they would hear that. And once they have doubts in their mind, they would not trust you. When they do not trust you, then it would be a very hard hill to climb to go to the resolution because they would not follow your advice. When it comes to tone and pitch, it's also very important that you do not become monotonous. I know you might say, but I will be receiving so many calls in a day. How do I keep up my enthusiasm each and every call? Well, you have to do it. It's the reality. You might not be able to keep up the energy like, oh, hi, hello, Mr. Smith, every single time. But what you can do, what you can control is your tone and your pitch, your intonation, the rise and fall of your voice. Because just imagine if I came to you today and I sounded like this. Would you be willing to listen to me? Would you even stay on the line? Probably not, right? No, because I would definitely bore you to death, and we do not want that to happen. That's why we always make sure that we insert some liveliness, some energy into the way we talk by using your diction, yes, but also your rise and the fall of your tone, inflection, so to speak. One thing that I would also want to advise you is to be careful of how you use the rising inflection. Because if you always keep using the rising inflection at the end of your sentences, then you would sound as if you're asking questions as opposed to making statements. Oh, what you have to do is turn off the TV. What you have to do, so I would advise you to please reboot your laptop. See, if you always end in the rising tone, then you sound as if it's a question and not a statement. You would not sound credible. So you have to make sure that when you ask questions, you use the what? Not the rising, but the lower inflection, falling intonation. And if you're using your statements, that's the time that you can vary your tone. All right. I hope that everything's still clear and we are going to continue. Think before you speak. Just a very important reminder is just use those acronyms, THINK. Before you speak, think or ask yourselves these questions. Is it true? Is it helpful? Is it important? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Because being a great communicator is not only about knowing how to speak well, it's also about your intention, also about the message that you are delivering. If you are a great communicator, but you always are out to hurt people, then definitely you would lose respect. You do not have to always put people down, even if you're great at speaking. No, use your skill actually to help people out. If it's helpful, if it's necessary, if it's true, if it's kind, then absolutely go ahead and deliver your message or your advice. I hope that you remember this because this is, again, as I said, especially to me, very, very important. I always believe that you should respect everybody that you meet, regardless of their designation, regardless of what they do in life. Keep an open mind. Yes, absolutely. Minds are like parachutes. They function better when they are open. If you are narrow minded, if your mind is closed, then you would not absorb any information. And in any industry, especially in the workplace, you have to be a sponge. You have to be willing to learn. And mind you, during the interviews, this is one of the skills. Being open and willing to learn is one of the things that interviewers are looking for. Even if you're not the best, But if you are displaying the right attitude, the right mindset, then the interviewer would be more likely to want to give you a chance. As opposed to if you're so arrogant and conceited, like, oh, I can do everything. Because let's face it, as newbies, you would not know everything. You would definitely need a mentor. You would definitely need somebody to help you out. And always be open, not only to ideas, but also to feedback. Constructive feedback. When somebody gives you advice, do not think of it as criticism. Think of it as the person caring enough for to want for you to improve, right? Because they wouldn't give you feedback if they are not invested in your learning and in your improvement. So keep an open mind when it comes to ideas and feedback. Understand nonverbal cues. It's very, very important, especially for face to face interviews, but also when you have your online interviews as well. Nonverbal cues, not only relating to the gestures of your interviewer, but also the tone. Pay attention, especially with your clients. If they say, oh, yeah, thank you so much, you've been very helpful, what does the client sound like? They sound sarcastic. And if you say, "Oh, great, I'm glad I was able to help you out," then you're just going to aggravate them further, because the impression there with their tone is that they're telling you you weren't able to help them at all. You really still need to dig deeper and probe even further and ask if there's still anything that you can do to help, because if not, then the client will be left dissatisfied. So pay attention to nonverbal cues, not only from the interviewer, but also from you. If you have mannerisms, if you have tics, make sure that you practice on controlling them. If your hands are shaking during the interview, if you are a nail biter, make sure that you keep your hands on your lap. Make sure that you are aware of whatever nervous tics or mannerisms you have so that you can control it. And one no during the interview is to keep your arm crossed, because you come off as defensive and not very open for a conversation, right? Now, adapt your style to the audience is very critical as well. It's just the same with tone and the pace. You also have to adjust your style, because if you are, for instance, talking to an audience of 6-year-olds, then definitely your style would be different than if you are at a medical symposium talking to hospital directors and practitioners, right? That's going to be a totally different ball game. The language that you use, the jokes that you're going to use, even the language that you're going to use would be very different depending on the audience that you have. It's okay to be not so formal, but you also have to make sure that you remain professional at all times, because you never know. A joke might be funny to you, but it might be offensive to other people. So make sure that prior to your speech, you're able to know the audience that you are talking to. So how does that translate to your interviews? This is one very, very, very critical reminder, because I always encounter this, and it is a no. Make sure that you do your due diligence before your interviews, right? Because if an applicant says or tells me, you know what, Kat, I don't really know what ADP is. I don't really know what you guys do. That's already a red flag to me, because it means that the applicant was not invested enough to research on the company. And nowadays, with all the tools that we have, there is no excuse anymore not to know your future employer. So do your research. Let them know that you are very, very committed, that you have done your part, that you know them, and you think that your values are aligned, and that you really want to work for the company. That's how you adjust your style to the audience that you're talking to, and you have to learn to adapt at all times. That's what we do. Especially in the BPO KPO industry, change is always going to be there. And you have to make sure that you are very flexible in terms of talking to people, yes, and adjusting your mindset as well. All right. Confidence is key. What you're seeing here, look in front of the mirror, tell yourself that you're a superstar, because you know what? If you feel good, then you're able to talk to people easier, right? You're able to see them as equals and not somebody that you have to fear. You're not nervous when you go up there in front of everybody. When you know that you are great, or when you feel that you can do things, then when your confidence is very, very high, you become a great communicator. Not only that, you're able to persuade people. You're able to change mindsets. You're able to deliver your message and deliver the best possible solution to your client. And trust me, you can be your worst enemy. I know how critical you guys are. But why be your worst enemy when you can be your best cheerleader? Right? Nobody's going to do it for you. You should be your number one fan. You should know your skills. I'm not saying to be arrogant. I'm not saying to be conceited, but you should definitely know your worth, know your value, and exhibit that. Just make sure that you can back it up, because I am not a believer of fake it till you make it. Nope. Let's not do that. Do not fake it till you make it, but you know what you can do? Practice till you make it. Practice till you make it. That's what sets the masters, the experts apart, right? Because they, of course, they would have errors, they've committed mistakes along the way, but what do? They always get up, they try, and then they practice, hone their skills, and become the experts in their field. That's how you should develop your confidence. So, once again, I want you to say it with me. Do not fake it till you make it, practice till you make it. All right? So, how do you level up your communication skills? You just observe good communicators around you, find a mentor if you can, find somebody who speaks so well, and try to do what they're doing, or at least try to get some pointers from them. And like I said earlier, feedback is very, very important. You wouldn't know. Sometimes we have blind spots. Sometimes we cannot see what we lack. So we have to rely on other people to tell us that. Attend communication skills if you can, especially nowadays. You have a lot of time, and there's a wealth of knowledge out there. There's a wealth of available free resources. Take advantage of that, guys, because that's one thing that we didn't have in our time. Well, I'm not ancient. I'm only 35, but still, nowadays you can have anything at the tip of your fingertips, and you should definitely take advantage of that. Seek opportunities to communicate. Do not be hermits. Do not be shy. Do not shy away from conversation, because the only way that you can improve is to practice and to do it. Make sure that you take advantage, even if you're with your friends, your family members, always speak in English. And then, lo and behold, you would definitely improve your communication skills. Because you know what? I wasn't born like this. When I was 3 years old, I tell you, they always say, "Hey, Kat, you're speaking in Carabao English." But you know what? It was understandable because I was three. I was three and I was already trying to speak language. So if you are really, really determined to develop your communication skills, the key is to always speak in English every single day. You can also watch English movies and TV shows as opposed to Tagalog teleseries. You can definitely read out loud to practice your diction and your pronunciation. Speak in front of the mirror. Look at yourself while speaking, but always remember that practice is key. So speak to anyone that you know in English. Do not be afraid of them telling you, "Hey, you're conyo." It doesn't matter. If they don't want to do it, then that's fine. You respect their opinion. But who would improve their communication skills? Definitely you, if not them. So it's a great win for you, right? Practice is the key. So now that we've talked about the skills, practical ways to improve and level up your confidence and your communication skills, I want to leave you with this. Communication, the human connection, is the key to personal and career success. Without communication, you wouldn't be able to form those connections that you need. And not only in your personal life, but also in your business life. Because once again, you cannot do it alone. You need people, and what you do is to connect with them on a personal level, not just on a business level. Once you build your connections, you become their friend, you become their ally, you become their family, and so they're gonna be willing to help you more in the future. And if you choose the right people, then you will just prop yourself up for success together with them. So I leave you with that, and I hope that you were able to learn some tips and tricks so that you'll become better communicators. Thank you once again. Thank you, everybody.
All right. I'm sorry. I'm having an internet connection. Okay. So thank you so much, ma'am, for that talk. So lahat po ng may questions. So unfortunately kasi hindi natin nakasama si ma'am for the question and answer. But we have other two speakers pa. So lahat ng questions nyo, pwede natin i-ask or kung kaya namin i-ask ngayon, i-answer ngayon yung mga questions nyo, i-address po natin. Right? So let's move on po to our next speaker. So our next speaker is the Sourcing Associate of Internal Recruitment from PSG Global Solutions. So she graduated with a Bachelor of Science in Psychology and is a registered psychometrician. She also joined PSG as a fresh graduate and now has almost 2 years of experience working in recruitment and human resources. Again, the Sourcing Associate of PSG Global Solutions, Ms. Samantha Bukas. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, good morning. Good
Hi,
morning
good
to all
morning,
of our
ma'am.
listeners.
Right. Let's
Right, so
test
thank
for
you.
your share screen.
Oh, there. So let me start sharing my screen now. Okay. So,
Sa full screen na lang, ma'am.
yeah, there you go. Can you see it na po?
Alright. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Alright, ma'am.
All
So,
right.
babalik ko na lang po after 20 minutes for the Q&A. So, take it
Okay,
away.
I
Good
understand.
luck,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Oh, wait. So good morning to everyone who's watching. And today I'll be talking to you guys about hiring in the new normal. So basically, all the trends that we have now that we're in a pandemic and hiring in the new normal. All right, but before we start with that, let me first introduce PSG. Okay, so basically, background. We are PSG. We are the world's largest and fastest growing provider of outsourced recruiting support to the US staffing industry. So, what does that mean? So, we are an RPO company. We are similar to BPO companies, so like call centers. However, we are RPO, which stands for Recruitment Process Outsourcing. So, similar to BPO, but we work more with the recruitment, staffing, and human resources, right? So, what do? We are committed to improving people's lives by connecting them to meaningful work. Let me just share some of the awards also that we've gathered during the pandemic. So we received this award in the middle of a pandemic. So first, we were awarded with the Great Place to Work award. So we are certified a great place to work. We got this back in January, and we not only plan on being the great place to work, but a best place to work for all of our employees. We also bagged our Best of RPO award for 2 years in a row, so just this 2021. All right. So one of the things we are also proud of recently is that we were able to work from home in just a week. So in just a week, you guys. So back in March 2020, when the pandemic started, when the lockdown happened, PSG wanted to ensure the safety of all their employees and wanted to make sure that they would be able to work remotely from their homes, right? Because it was a scary time back then when the pandemic erupted, but we were able to work from home in just 1 week, right? So we deployed all of our equipment. We deployed equipment to our employees so that they would be able to work, and we ended the week almost 100% of our employees were working from home. And it truly shows that we are in the top 1% of all great companies. Okay? So, starting a career in recruitment. So here are openings: recruitment specialists, recruitment coordinators, internal recruiters, tax and compliance specialists, infosec officers, reporting specialists, treasury associates, ops support associates, IT support engineers, all of which are posted in our Jobs 180 link. So you can go to Jobs 180 and look for PSG Global Solutions, or you can just search this link, jobs180.com/PSG Global Solutions, and you will be able to see all of our openings as well as all of the qualifications for those openings. Okay, so uh, our most in demand is our most in demand position is for the recruitment specialist. All right, so we accept fresh graduates for this post. So if you guys are nearing graduation, you can apply for a recruitment specialist post since this is open for our fresh grads. Why be a recruiter? You might ask yourself. Number one, you get to meet a lot of different people. So from different walks of life, um, different careers, you get to meet a lot of people. Number two, it's a very marketable career. It also helps you develop your communication, administrative, and negotiation skills. And finally, it is emotionally rewarding because at the end of the day, really, a recruiter or a recruitment specialist gets paid to help other people, right? Especially in this pandemic, you get a chance to help other people find opportunities, find jobs. So that's what's most rewarding about becoming a recruiter. So, basic qualifications for most of our openings. Number one is good English communication skills, since we do have foreign clients in the US and in some parts of Canada. Willing to work on a night shift schedule, since again, we have to cater to their timeline. It's good if you have the capability to work from home. If you already have your laptops, PCs, reliable internet connection, or headset, that's really good. But if you don't have these things, PSG will be glad to provide them for you. So as long as your location is accessible. So if you live in Metro Manila, in some parts of Calabarzon, in some parts of Cavite, we can send your equipment for you, right? So laptop, headsets, right? So also willing to work in Makati or San Juan. So these are our two sites. We're located in Ayala, Makati, and BTPC San Juan. So if you guys are familiar, for our permanent positions, you must be willing to work in Makati or San Juan when we are required to go back to operations. So that's the end of the year pa. So if you want to be a permanent employee of PSG, you must be willing to work in one of these sites. But we also offer project-based positions. So um, we also offer jobs to people from Visayas or Mindanao, so from all over the country. Okay, so for our project-based positions, the project-based candidates. All right. So here are the perks of working at PSG. Work with us and enjoy virtual recruitment process, virtual training, a work from home setup, no queuing, no shifting schedules, monthly performance bonuses, competitive salary package, medical benefits, early regularization, and promotion. All right. So now let's start the talk. So the topic is hiring in the new normal. So I can't speak for all companies, but we've definitely the recruitment process has definitely changed within the past year because of the pandemic, right? Because of safety measures and protocols, we can't just show up on site and just pass our resumes. So I'll talk about the hiring trends that we are currently following at PSG. Okay, so digital recruitment is the new normal. Here at PSG, we follow end-to-end virtual recruitment. All right, so on-site applications and walk-ins are not entertained. Um, you have to pass So in this case, online application will be through Jobs 180. You submit your resume links to PSG Global Solutions, and then you're on the phone. Your initial screening will be on the phone. Okay, so if you pass or if you submit your resumes, expect a call from the phone, and then if you pass, a virtual final interview will be scheduled. So a lot of tips have are here through the Jobs 180 site. You can just look for other tips, but I've also prepared some tips for you guys during interviews. All right. So number one, test of course your internet connection and devices. Okay, so make sure all of your devices, lights, camera, microphone, speakers, headphones, that they're all working properly, and also that your internet connection is stable, right? Number two, be prepared. Always be prepared for any questions that might be asked of you. Why do you think we should hire you? Why are you the best candidate for this position? So those are some of the questions. Also be prepared. Also prepare questions you can ask to your recruiters regarding the work from home setup, the benefits that we provide. So also be prepared with those. The third one is to rid yourself of distraction. All right, keep your virtual interview professional. So maybe don't wear just a sando during your final interview. Wear a t-shirt, a good t-shirt or a polo shirt. Choose a quiet, well-lit space. Dressing in corporate attire is not always, especially for fresh graduates, corporate attire is not really required, um, and using headphones or earphones to minimize background noise. So this is also really important. Baka hindi kayo magkaintindihan ng recruiter mo when, when you're in an interview, maybe ask your family members to not call your attention muna. Baka mamaya they're calling you inuutusan ka or something. So these are things that you have to take note of. All right. So these are just some of my tips for virtual interviews. Now that the trend for digital recruitment is the new normal, right? So how to apply in PSG? Again, you can scan this QR code or send your resume links to jobs180 phgglobalsolutions.com. All right. Or you can take a screenshot. For those of you on your phones, you can take a screenshot. For those of you on your laptops, you can take a picture of this QR code. So you can also submit your details here. But again, we really would like you to submit your details via Jobs 180 link. All right. So I'd also like to talk briefly about our referral network program. So this is for the non-employees of PSG. So for non-employees of PSG, we offer referral incentives if you refer candidates. All right. So for recruitment specialists, your incentive would be 2,000 pesos. Okay. So again, this is for non-employees PSG. So this is for you guys since you are currently not employed in PSG, you are eligible for this referral network program. Okay, so for team leader, if you know anyone, if you have any kamag-anaks that are team leaders, you can send them to us. And then for that, you get a referral incentive of $300. For manager and directors, you get $500. All right. So you can send your referrals, names, contact numbers, and copy of their resumes along with your name and contact details to recruiting at phgglobalsolutions.com. All right. So how do I refer? Again, you can send your referrals to recruiting at phgglobalsolutions.com or use this QR code. All right. Again, for those of you on your phones, this is a referral network program. You can take a picture or take a screenshot. Okay. So like and follow us Facebook, Instagram, global website, and on LinkedIn. Okay. So that's basically it for me. That concludes my talk. So for any questions, you can ask them on the comment section below. Let me just stop sharing this.
All right. So thank you, Miss Sam. So guys, the floor is now open. So you may ask now, Miss Sam. So kung may questions kayo, Type in your questions sa comment and iisa-isahin ko natin yan. So, habang naghihintay ng question, Miss Sam, may question po ako.
Mm-hmm.
Ayan. So, since halos millennial applicant na po ang meron tayo today, what do you like most about hiring fresh grads today po for millennial applicants?
Right? So for millennial applicants, they have fresh eyes. They offer ano perspective. So really for fresh graduates, I was also actually a fresh graduate when I joined PSG. So it's really good if you guys are gonna be fresh graduates. PSG is a great company to work at because you can see naman during the pandemic how much they took care of their employees. Also, what we like about fresh graduates is that you have a lot of chance to to start your career and maraming chances for advancement also. Since I've already been here for almost 2 years, so this could be you. I could be you guys if you wanna join PSG as well.
Alright. So, since ma'am nabanggit mo na fresh grad ka, no? So, ano naman po yung advantages ng being a millennial applicant since marami din tayong narinig before na sobrang dami disadvantages ng millennials today pagdating sa new normal work settings. Ano sa tingin niyo po yung advantage na meron makagamit yung mga millennial applicants?
Right? So millennials right now, they're very critical thinkers, like me, char. Anyway, millennials, we have a lot of qualities to offer to the companies, especially now. We've went through the pandemic, so a lot of us have a lot to offer now when we start to venture in our first jobs.
Right. Okay. Again, ma'am, may question tayo from Mr. Robert Juarez. Magkano
Are
po
you?
starting sa PSG? Is that okay?
Yeah,
They ask
so we do have speaking in terms of salary, we offer competitive salary package. On top of that, we also have allowances, internet allowances. So I can't really say how much starting because this should be disclosed by the internal recruiters. But what I can say really is that for recruitment specialists and for our other positions, we offer competitive salary packages compared to other companies.
Again. And another one po, do you have available part-time jobs?
So, available part time jobs, as I've mentioned earlier, to answer your question, we don't have part time jobs, but we do have project based positions. So, if you're looking to only work for 6 months or so, we have those positions for you. So, if you're not looking to be a permanent employee of PSG and you just like to dip your toes in the water, you can send your resume for our project-based positions, right? But for part-time, like, is that like, only 4 hours a day? We don't have those. Only full-time jobs, but we have project-based positions.
And I'm sure, ma'am, interested din sila malaman kung ano po yung mga open positions or available positions ngayon ni PSG.
Right. So our open positions again, we have openings for recruitment specialists, so recruiters, also admin because admin jobs, so recruitment coordinators, that's more of admin job, back office jobs. And if you want to see really all of our openings, because we have a lot, actually currently as of the moment we have a lot of openings, you can visit Jobs 180. So nandun lahat ng qualifications, but again, our most in demand is for the recruitment specialist or for the recruiters position. Yan. So I
Right.
see another
Yes,
question.
ma'am. There's a
Can fresh
question.
graduates of different fields apply for recruit? Yes. So you can, fresh graduates from different majors, you can graduate from any course. We will accept any fields. All right. So we're not really strict na dapat psychology major, dapat ganitong major, human resources major. You can graduate from engineering, and if you want to venture a career in recruitment, we can still hire you. All right. So I hope that answers your question, and I hope that it piques your interest to apply at PSG as well.
Alright, so I think that's it, ma'am. So wala nang questions, wala nang pahabol ng questions. So thank you so much po, Miss Sam.
All
Maraming
right.
maraming
Thank you for
salamat po.
having me.
All
Thank you,
right. Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
All right. And keep safe, Nathan. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, so let's have our last speaker. So we have the recruitment manager of Optic Global Solutions. So she is a college graduate from the LaSalle University, Manila, where she finished her course of international studies, majoring in European studies. She then started her first job in Citigroup Business Process Solutions back in 2010 as an sourcing associate, and today she is currently employed for more than 7 years with Optum Global Solutions as a recruitment manager for who handles specifically the campus and graduates program. So the recruitment manager of Optum Global Solutions, Miss Reese. Hi, Miss Reese.
Hi, good
Good
morning,
morning.
everyone. Good morning. Can you hear me well?
Yes, ma'am. Loud and
Perfect.
clear now. All right, ma'am.
Hello.
So let's ask us for your screen share.
Sure. Just please let me know if you can see my screen already, okay?
All right. So again, guys, for all your questions, please type in your questions sa comment box para ma-address natin lahat ng questions. Okay?
All
Okay,
right.
ma'am.
Can you see my screen?
Hi, ma'am. So I'll leave it to it po. So you have 20 minutes po and I'll be back for the question and answer.
Got
Okay,
it.
ma'am.
Thank you
Salamat po.
so much. All right. So, again, good morning, everyone. My name is Reese Pasha. I will be your speaker, your next speaker for today's webinar. And what I'd like to do is, of course, introduce myself to you all. And how we like to introduce ourselves here in Optum would be in a very casual way. We want things to be very light and, of course, enjoyable for this morning's session. So, again, my name is Reese Pasha, actually, Christine Therese Huang Pasha, but people call me Reese in the office. And I see myself as a very positive person. So, I've coined my own little hashtag as Positive Pasha because it's always great to see yourself in the positive light of things when everything's down, especially right now that we're still currently working from home and we don't really get to see our office mates and our family members because of the pandemic. We still have to see things in the positive light that, we're healthy and that we're happy today. And I'm also part of a family of five. I'm actually the middle child of three sisters, and my younger sister has Down syndrome. So, what my parents did was when she was born, they decided to look for other parents who have children with Down syndrome, and they formed a group, which is the Down Syndrome Association of the Philippines. So, if you know anyone with Down syndrome, please encourage them to join the association. Excuse me. I have been with my husband for over 13 years already. Well, going 13 this October. And so when people say that there was no forever, I think that I have to disagree. You have to just find the right person like me, where I found my husband. And another little thing that I like to do is I love playing basketball. Of course, there's no time right now to play basketball because most of the courts are closed. But I have been playing basketball since I was in grade four, and I really do enjoy the sport very much. And lastly, I love musical theater and Broadway. So when I am a bit down or when I am, let's say, working on a project and I just need background music, I always just turn on um, musical theater in the background and it just picks me up. It makes me really happy. And I really do enjoy also being on stage. So that's really me. I hope that you got to know me really quickly in just about maybe less than a minute and that will really enjoy this session. So, before I get into my topic on motivation and productivity, I'd like to speak about the company that I work for, which is Optum Global. And with Optum, it is the number one healthcare company in the United States. And currently, we already rank not anymore Fortune 7, but Fortune 5 in the Fortune 500. And it just shows that we are in this rank because we do really make sure that we give them the best support in their healthcare. And we are currently approximately almost 200,000 employees worldwide and over already 20,000 in the Philippines. And we serve about 124 million individual consumers. And we touch nearly every aspect of healthcare, healthcare financing and delivery. Locally, you can compare us to, I would say, your HMOs or your parents' HMOs, which is IntelliCare or MaxiCare, but definitely we are much bigger than the ones locally. We really do want to help people live healthier lives, and we make sure by really getting the right people, the right individuals to join our organization to serve, of course, our customers as best as they can, to give them the best customer experience and also the best healthcare packages. Now, in Optum, I'm proud to say that we really live through our mission and values within the organization. And our mission is to help people live healthier lives and to help make the healthcare system work better for everyone. And I really seen this in the organization, being with the organization for over 8 years already, that we really do make people live healthier lives. And it's not just our customers, but even our employees in the organization. And we make sure that our values are never compromised. So the values that we have, which is integrity, compassion, relationships, innovation, and performance, are very well seen in the day-to-day work that we do in the organization. We make sure that we honor our commitments, walk in the shoes of people that we serve, build trust through collaboration, invent and the future and learn from the past, and demonstrate excellence in everything that we do. We make sure that these values work hand in hand in how we serve our customers. And I really do see that every day with all the employees in the organization, because we always put our people first. And of course, with Optum, we also have very fun activities. We make sure that we have engagement activities for our employees. So as you can see the pictures below, we celebrated Sinulog in our Cebu site. We also make sure that we prioritize our diversity. We always make sure that diversity and inclusion is very much present with what we do also in our everyday work. So we also celebrate Women's Month, which is, I believe that was back in May. And of course, in June, we celebrate Pride Month so that we can really have our LGBTQT community in the organization shine through. So we make sure that these things are very much seen within the organization, because it's very important to us that you get to really showcase yourself and be your authentic self within the organization. Our operations in the Philippines, we do have four sites nationwide, and our first site was in McKinley Hill in Taguig. So that's a site that I used to report to since we work from home. I don't report there right now. But our first site would be in Taguig. This is actually beside the Venice Piazza Mall, if you're familiar with that, the one with the Grand Canal in the mall, in the middle of the mall. So our office is right beside that. We do have two buildings there. And then our second site would be in Cebu, which is in IT Park, and we also have two buildings there in the Calix Center and also in the Philinvest building. Our third site would be located in Quezon City. This would be in UP Techno Hub, and we have also two buildings there. And lastly, we have our site in Alabang in Muntinlupa. And this would be in Northgate Cyber Zone, which we, I believe, have already three buildings for for Optum. So you can see that with the amount of sites that we have, I mean, it's not much. It's not compared to other companies, but we are already a growing organization, and we are looking into um, establishing more sites in different locations here in the Philippines. So just watch out. There will be more locations soon. Now, our career areas or opportunities that we have within the organization would be in four major business segments, which is in technology, customer service, the clinical business, and also shared services. So for technology, this would be the growing part of our business, where we can see a lot of opportunities where individuals can apply to our organization. Mainly, positions offered there would be analytics, automation, information security, and data sciences. We also have, of course, our customer service branch, which is always very much established and very strong. But as compared to other organizations where usually customer service would be in taking orders or just really handling a customer and let's say ordering a certain product, what we do, our customer service here in Optum would be more of to medium to high complex customer service roles, meaning since we are a healthcare organization, we do handle the prescriptions, let's say, of the individual, or we make sure that they get their insurance claims that they have applied for their healthcare plan. And for the clinical business, this is mainly where we do hire our medical allied courses or our nurses. So registered nurses, USRNs, and medical coders are very much seen in these opportunities. And also, of course, the medical allied courses. And lastly, for shared services, these are more for our leadership roles or more of the back end roles that handle how the organization works. So we're kind of like the backbone. This is where human capital enters or the human resources department and also more of the leadership roles again that handle how everything really works well within the organization. So check out our opportunities. If you'd like to see more of these opportunities, you can look into our website, which is work@optum.com, or in our Jobs 180 homepage. Now, before I also jump into our topic, I'd want to really quickly just share with you how we were able to respond to the pandemic when it started last year, I believe back in March. Yes, back in March. So, of course, at that time, we were all very much nervous when we heard that we had to go home, we had to work from home. There was a lot of uncertainty of what would happen next. But as Optum always really puts their people first, they worked very quickly and we made sure that everyone would be safe. Again, our number one priority at that time for our leaders would be having our employees work from home, and also, of course, the safety and security of all the employees were well established while we were working from home. So currently, and after over a year, we are still employing and paying full wages to our entire workforce. Currently, we are allowing a few employees to go to the office, but of course, we are following the health protocols for people to go into the office. Business continuity plans were set into place really quickly by our senior leaders. We made sure that we engaged fully and effectively to keep our team members safe while serving the needs of our members, patients, customers without any disruption. So again, it was very quick how the senior leaders handled the situation, and we were all placed in our safe in our homes working. We also even had some senior leaders send the workstations or computers to the employees' homes, so that just so that they can work from home and that they are safe. And also, of course, living to our mission and values and making sure that we help people live healthier lives, we still had the time to really donate an additional 10 million to fight the pandemic in Brazil, Chile, Colombia, India, Ireland, and Peru, and of course in the Philippines. What we did here in the Philippines is we partnered up with our with Caritas Manila to really help out our brothers and sisters here in the Philippines. So again, um, our response to the pandemic was very quick. Also, of course, since our number priority would be our employees, we made sure really for the safety and security of all of them. And currently, most of us are still working from home. We made sure also that for the ones that would like to report to the office, we made sure that they are safe, that the protocols are all followed so that everyone would be able to continue to work. So basically, that's how we were able to respond to the pandemic. And we still are currently doing that right now. So I'm very proud to be part of this organization. All right. So that would be a very and quick introduction of Optum. Now, what I'd like to discuss right now and take this opportunity is to share with you the um, topic that I would like to discuss, which should be highly motivated and productive in doing your life's best work. So How do you think Jane is feeling right now? We are all kind of, for me, I believe that even being in the pandemic for over a year, it's still a bit tough for most of us, especially now that it's been over a year already. Most of us have been working from home, or studying from home, and it's a bit tough. You miss face-to-face interaction with your office mates, with your classmates, with your teachers. And I think that's what Jane is really feeling. So you can see that, it's been tough on her as well. She looks bored, she's tired, demotivated, lazy, unproductive. These are certain words that pop out in your head when you see Jane. And I think that's how most of us may feel at times, that when we're a bit overwhelmed with our situations, when we watch the news, that the cases fluctuate, it's going up, it's going down. There's still a lot of uncertainty right now. So you get a little nervous, you get demotivated, you get lazy to do certain things. But during this time, I believe that it's best to pick yourself up and to really understand your situation and see what you are grateful for, right? So that's when you try to find your motivations. Now, to really clearly define what motivation is, it's the reason or reasons one has for acting or behaving in a particular way, and the general desire or willingness of someone to do something. So it's that's a certain pull that you feel when you want to really complete a project. When, let's say, you get inspired to do something, you are motivated to do a certain task. So these are reasons why we act or behave. Let's say we watch a TikTok video, and we want to learn the dance really well. So you are motivated to complete a certain dance number that you'd want to do. Or let's say in school, when the teachers give you a certain task, you are motivated to complete that because you'd want to pass a certain subject. So that's when the two types of motivation come in. We have our external motivation and our internal motivation. For external motivation, this is something when we're compelled to do something for a reward. So, like my example earlier, when your teacher gives you a task or a project, you are compelled and you want to complete that because you want to get high grades, or you want to have the highest honor. So, that's social recognition. And then the internal motivation is when we are compelled by things that are personally gratifying. Like my example, when you want to complete a dance or learn a dance because you'd want to have an additional skill, that's what internal motivation is. When, let's say, we want to learn, let's say, baking, or a new skill that we'd want to learn, that's more of internal motivation. So you have to see also the difference between the external and internal motivators. Now, with all the challenges nowadays, how do I keep myself motivated and productive in the time of Corona, right? Again, a lot of uncertainties. Also, of course, since we are all working from home and studying from home, sometimes you get a little bit overwhelmed with the work that you have to do, and also the tasks that you have to complete even at home. I recently became a mother to a boy, and it's a bit challenging on my end, to sometimes be with my son, but also I have to complete my work, right? So I have to think of these certain things, that how do I keep myself motivated and productive while really doing everything, that all my tasks for the day. So I would like to share with you 8 ways to motivate yourself and keep productive during this time, when everything is a bit overwhelming, right? So number one would be really be kind to yourself. Still understand your situation. Make sure that, right now, I can't do everything all at the same time, but I can keep, let's say, a list or tasks that I can complete during the day. You have to be kind to yourself and understand your situation. People who are working from home, or the students who are studying from home, you make sure that you are kind to yourself. Make sure that you understand your situation, your environment, and understand how you can make things better with your environment or the time that you have right now. Now, it's also important to limit the news and social media consumption. Again, as I mentioned, with the news, you can see that the cases for the coronavirus fluctuate, or you hear about rumors of another lockdown. So that's actually going to make you sad because you're like, oh my gosh, I can't again see my friends or I can't see my family members. I have to stay indoors again, or I can't bring out my family or my children. So it's a bit overwhelming. Then you get kind of tired and you get demotivated to complete your tasks, right? So it's best to limit news and social media consumption right now, especially before you're about to do a certain task. It's very important when you start your day, try to meditate or pray. Like what I do, I enjoy praying at the start of my day. I try my best to not look at my phone first thing in the morning. It's very hard, but try your best to keep it aside first. Um, Put aside your phone so that you don't get tempted to look into social media or the news, and just really have time for yourself. Again, connection to number one, be kind to yourself. Make sure that you have time for yourself first. Pray, have breakfast with yourself, read a book, maybe go outside your house, take in some fresh air, but not outside the gate, just outside your house or open the window, take in some fresh air, just really to calm yourself, to start your day with a really good sound mind. And then number three is establish a routine. So of course, once you've already meditated or prayed, had your breakfast, it's time to start your routine. Again, it can you can have a lot of tasks in one whole day, but establishing a routine of your everyday work would help you really complete these tasks very quickly. Not just for work, not for school, but also housework, right? You have to make sure that your routine is followed on a day-to-day basis, so that you have already a certain type of um, routine that you follow, like when you were going to school or when you were going to the office. You followed a certain routine, like you wake up, you get ready for work, you commute to work, and stay in the office, then go home, right? Something similar to that, but you have to establish that working from home so that you motivate yourself and keep productive. So at least when you are meeting your tasks or you're following your routine, you know that you can complete these certain tasks. Now, number four would, of course, be taking a break. You're already following your routine, and you've established a routine already in your home. And you've had that routine in school or in the office. And you notice, though, that in school and the office, you always have breaks, right? Sometimes with school, at least when I was still going to school, we'd had classes back to back, right? Back to back classes. And it was very hard. But there's always time for a break, which I really, really enjoyed. So even if you're studying from home and working from home, it's very important that you give yourself 15-minute breaks, your 1 hour lunch break, that's very important, and 15-minute breaks for bio breaks, just really mental health breaks. It's very important to do that, or because you don't want to burn yourself out, right? Or you don't want to overstimulate yourself with all the work that you have. So it's very important to take a break, just sit back, read a book, maybe talk to your family members in the house, and have some coffee just to really relax yourself, so that at least after your 15-minute break and after your 1 hour lunch break, again, you have that you're motivated again to complete your tasks, and you get to continue to be productive throughout the day. Now, number six would be figuring out your personal motivators. So remember when I mentioned your external and internal motivators. So that's how you can also pick up your internal motivators for your personal motivators. You have to understand what keeps you productive. Is it the environment that you are working in, right? Is it the room that you are working in? Do you want to put, let's say, if you're a plantito or a plantito, if you want to put your plants around your room so that you can be more motivated to complete your tasks. Or let's say if you're a BTS fan like me, if you're Army, you can put, let's say, the pictures of the BTS group member group members around your desk, so you're inspired, right? So these are certain things that you think about. Make sure that you're working in a great environment, that you can keep productive. So a quiet environment would be very conducive for you. Also, of course, a place that's well lit, so at least you keep it's well lit and you keep productive during that time when, of course, you're in a well lit room. Again, you can inspire yourself by putting motivational quotes around your workstation, or maybe on your laptop. You can put stickers, or let's say you have also your to-do list, so that you can also motivate yourself and keep productive. So only you would know how to keep yourself motivated and productive. So figure out what really pushes you to keep things productive, and use that so that you can complete your tasks for the day. And the number 6 would be set your deadlines. So it's very important, of course, you have your tasks all laid out. So you make sure, of course, that you meet those tasks and complete that on certain times. So you set your deadlines and make a checklist for yourself, so that at least by the end of the day, again, you're motivated for the next day because you've completed your certain tasks or you've completed your checklist. So it's good that you have a checklist. So once everything is done, once you've ticked all those boxes, you are motivated again for the next day to complete the tasks for the next day. So in this case, it will also help you keep productive. Now, number 7 is a very important as well for me, which is staying connected. Staying connected could be your face-to-face interaction with your family members in your house, or staying connected through the social platforms. So it's important to really see your friends or speak to your um, classmates, your teachers, your office mates during this time. So at least you can keep productive. You can ask them certain questions for, let's say, a certain project, or you just want to, take your break with them. You can take your 15-minute break with them. You can have your lunch break online with them. You can eat lunch together, right? So it's really how you want to still stay connected with people. It's For me, social interaction is very important, and seeing the face of a person really lights up my day. Even if I see them virtually, um, I get really happy, especially when I see my office mates during the day and we complete certain tasks together. That really motivates me to complete certain projects. So it's very important to still have social interaction with people, even if it's virtually. And lastly, it's really tap into who you are. You've already completed certain tasks for school or in the office, but it's very important that to still find your authentic self. Who are you really? What motivates you? What keeps you productive? So these are still certain things that we are learning as we grow and live through these uncertain times. You still want to understand how you are, what really motivates you, especially that you really can't do so much right now. You're basically constrained to your home right now, but you want to understand what motivates you and still keeps you productive, especially in an environment at home. So these are certain things that we still are relearning and currently learning for ourselves. So it's important to understand also who you are. Make sure that that's really make sure that that's what's important, and that's who you should prioritize. It's yourself. So may it be having a mental health break, or taking time to talk to people online. It's how you would want to motivate yourself and keep productive, so to still cope up with these times when um, with these uncertain times. So it's important again to tap who you are and understand what motivates you and keep you productive. So those are my 8 ways to motivate yourself. My 8 tips are ways to keep yourself motivated and keep productive. So it's very important, guys, to always remember as well to really understand what makes you special can inspire your life's best work. So again, it's again tapping into your authentic self, understanding what motivates you and keeps you productive. So to just end things, I want to also share with you that we are currently hiring right now in Optum. And these are for our healthcare advocates for the customer service roles, for patient and member services. We also have our allied health graduate positions that are open for the clinical business. And if you want to look into our to more of our opportunities, which you can find in our website, which is work@optum.com, or please check out our Jobs 180 page, which is Jobs 180 at Optum. So make sure to check us out on our opportunities. And let me know, of course, if you have any questions. You can always message me if you want to take a screen cap. You can always email me at my email address. And of course, if you have any questions right now for me, please do ask them. I'm part of Optum Global Solutions. And again, I'm Chris Pasha, and I hope you really enjoyed my session. Thank you.
All right, so thank you so much, Miss Please. All right, so guys, the floor is now open, so you can now ask Miss Please sa mga questions na yan na gusto niyo ask. Okay, parang kanina may question tayong hindi na-answer before pumasok si Miss Please.
Oh, okay.
Kasi parang halos lahat po ng audience natin today ay engineering student. So,
Oh, nice.
I think nag-ask sila kung ano yata yung mga pwede or available jobs na pwede sa mga engineering students.
All right. So for engineering students, that would be more for our technology side of the business. So as I mentioned, it is the booming side of our business right now in Optum. So if you would want to check out the opportunities under our technology department, please do. I really highly encourage you all to check our website, which is Work at Optum, or of course, apply at jobs180.com/Optum.
So we have question po from the audience. So from Mr. Christopher Lamok. So ang question ni ma'am ay, any suggestion or advice to keep motivated to those who have anxiety or depression through this pandemic?
Right. All right. So thank you for your question, Christopher. And that's a really great question that you've asked because for sure most of us are feeling a bit of anxiety because of the pandemic. And as I mentioned earlier during my talk, it's very important to understand who you are. So how do you handle your anxiety, or if you're feeling a bit down? Especially during this time that you want to go back to school or you want to have social interaction with your classmates and teachers. So it's really, for me, it's a matter of stepping back and understanding when you need to step back, take a break first, understand that you have to just calm yourself, take a break, and find what motivates you. So, is it dancing on TikTok, or is it just meditating, doing yoga at home while watching a YouTube video that teaches you how to do yoga, right? Or if you want to tap into a new skill to motivate you, you can look into different ways to, let's say, learn how to bake, or you can also teach yourself certain things. Again, what we're very lucky that right now during the pandemic is that we have um, social media and the internet. Imagine back in the Spanish influenza, they didn't have that. They just had to read books or maybe try to look how to entertain themselves. But we are very much lucky that we have the internet, and it's a whole array of things that we can look for that inspire us. So these are certain things that you can look for. Maybe learn a new skill, or take a break and just really understand how you would want to calm yourself down. Again, social interaction is very important. If you need to talk to someone, then reach out to that person. So these are certain things or tips that I can share with you, maybe on how to handle your anxiety and when you're feeling a bit down. It's very important to understand what really would help you to get back into motivating yourself and keep productive.
Okay, so another one, ma'am. So from Ses. So if you hate what you're doing, can you change it to something you love, or can you change jobs?
Great question, actually. Um, I would say if you are already a bit uncomfortable, or if you're already questioning a certain task or a certain certain job that you are doing, or if you feel a bit demotivated, I suggest you talk to, let's say, your manager or your teacher first about it. Understand first, what is it that's not motivating you to complete your tasks, or why is it that you are demotivated or unproductive at a certain task or the job that you are doing, right? So for me, it's first understanding first that situation. What is it? What is it that's demotivating you? Because if you understand that and you have that conversation with someone, let's say a manager or a teacher, you can really change it to loving it again, right? Wow, parang deep. You can look into loving it again, or understanding the situation that you are in. So you can change. There's always room for change. To be very honest, there are times that I was also very much demotivated at my work, but this is the time where I was able to spend quality time with my family, and I was able to love my job again. Again, I've been with Optum for over 8 years, so I could say that I was very much guided well by my managers. So again, these are conversations that you want to have. Don't keep it to yourself, or talk to also a demotivated person, right? Because you just are going to demotivate yourselves, each other. So talk to someone who can still motivate you to continue working or completing your tasks. I think that's the best tip that's the best way I can answer this question.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. So another one, also based on your experience, how do you handle pressure from people who are looking after you or after you graduate? And like kapag graduate ka na, dapat may work na agad.
Okay. So, that fresh graduates, and I would say I have to admit, like myself, when I was a fresh graduate, that's the immediate thought that you really need a job after you graduate. Like it's important, right? But for other people, and for other people, they want to first step back and understand, or take a break and understand what is it that I want to really do, right? Because you graduate from a certain course, do you, let's say, have to look for a job that's very much related to your course? Sometimes no, right? It's also marrying what you love to do and the course that you graduated from. To be very honest, I graduated international studies, but here I am today, more than 10 years later, doing recruitment, right? Usually they say, but you should be, let's say, working for the consulate, or let's say an embassy, or HR's own department. I beg to differ. It's really looking into the skills that you have, certain talents that you have, marrying it together with the course that you graduated from, and then looking for the job that would fit that would fit exactly how you really would be happy with, right? What's important. I know there's a lot of pressure for people right now, especially for you students who are going to graduate very soon or have graduated already. So, but don't pressure yourself. Again, you have to understand first what you really love to do, understanding the course that you graduated from, and then looking for that position that you will be happy with. Because if you find a job, I mean, great, right? You find a job, but you're not happy with what you're doing, then you won't last long with that position, to be very honest. So you have to again look for a job that would be make you very happy, that you're able to still practice the skills that you have, practice the talents, and practice the skills that you are passionate about, that motivates you, and of course, using the skills that you've learned at school, which is your course. So I hope I answered your question, but that's how I can answer the question that you've asked.
All right. So another one, ma'am. So again, any tips po on staying positive even though we are facing challenges?
All right. So again, it really depends on how you would want to keep yourself positive, right? Only you know yourself best. So, what are those certain ways that would keep you positive, right? Would it be maybe staying away from social media for a while, taking a social media break? Because sometimes, again, if there's too much social media and too much news, you get overwhelmed, you get a little demotivated, right? So, when you're facing challenges, I think the way to stay positive is understanding what you are grateful for. certain blessings that you have, the little things in life, right? You may be going through, maybe you're going through something that you can't complete a task, or you're having a hard time with a certain subject, right? Take a step back and just pause, understand that what are you grateful for right now? What do you have? You're studying, right? You have that opportunity that you are still a student, that you can continue your studies, that you are currently studying in your own home, or you have also the capacity to complete your studies with your tablets, with your laptops, with your cell phones, whatever you have to complete that. So very little things you have to understand that maybe not a lot of people have right now. You're able to eat. You're able to eat every day. You have your 3 meals a day, 2 meals a day. You have a roof over your head while the weather's really bad. So again, these are things that you have to understand. Oh my gosh, I really have these things, and it keeps you motivated. It makes you think about, like, I have these things, so I'm very that it kind of pushes you to be more positive, right? So again, for me, to stay positive is to be grateful with what you have and understanding your blessings and be very happy with them.
Alright, so another one. So, how to not procrastinate and have a healthy routine instead.
Right. So again, for me, I guess before you really establish your routine, it's understanding your environment, right? So, what is it in your household or in the place that you work in? What is it that distracts you, right? Those are the things that make you procrastinate, right? So, understand first. Maybe that's when you eliminate those certain things. So, let's say that currently you are working in the middle of your living room or in the middle of your kitchen. It's so noisy. Your mom is cooking, your sibling is playing Mobile Legends beside you, right? So these are certain things you want to take out. These are distractions that you want to take out of your routine. So look first into an environment that can establish your routine, meaning look for a place where it's quiet, where you can have access to maybe take away certain distractions like your cell phone or a TV that's in front of you, so that you can still follow your routine. And make sure also to keep, for me, what I really personally, I like keeping a to-do list, so a checklist on what I need to complete for the day, because that would help me also stick to my routine so I can complete my tasks.
Alright, so I think that's it, Miss Reese. So, thank you so much po. Sobrang ganda ng topic natin. Meron kumabal, ma'am. Sorry.
Okay, game.
Um, Ayan, so from Mark, so wow, does staying positive is a good thing? Parang first time ko itong parinig.
Well, positive already is a word that's very positive, right? But for me, it's how you want to look into it, right? So being positive is, a lot of people say it's very important to be positive, right? But other people get pressured to be positive. So sometimes it's not a good thing because now you're pressuring yourself to be very positive. So it's how you want to look into your situation, I believe. So if you want to be positive, then how do you stay positive, right? Um, or I mean, you look for those motivators to keep yourself positive. But again, if you're forcing yourself to be positive, then I don't think that's a good thing already. You have to make sure that, again, you want to motivate yourself to do a certain thing and to feel a certain way, right? So, what are those things that would make you happy? I think that's really, it boils down to what makes you happy. What would make you be positive and not pressure yourself to be positive? You can't force yourself to feel a certain way, right? So, you have to understand um, how you want to feel today. So today, this morning, you wake up and go, how am I feeling today? What is it that will motivate me? So that's the time where you can reflect, meditate, and pray, and understand your tone for the day. You have to understand, as we call it in Optum, our mood elevator. So where do you want to go? Do you want to see yourself low, or you want to see yourself high? It's really understanding where you want to put yourself, where you want to be in the day. So that's the time where you can reflect and understand what will motivate you today. I hope I answered the question, Mark.
Right, so another one now, does Optum provides trainings to its employees?
Yes, definitely. As new employees of the organization, you will go through a new you will go through a new employee orientation, and then from there, you will establish from the position that you are hired for, you will go through certain trainings for your tracks. So we don't just put someone like, okay, time to work into a certain position. We want to make sure that you are very much well trained for the position within the organization. And also, the good thing about Optum is that we also have free trainings for all employees, like for Six Sigma, that's free for all employees, and we make sure that your development and your well-being would always increase within our stay in Optum. So yes, we do have a lot of trainings for employees for the positions that you are applying for, and of course, when you are already an employee, we have a lot of trainings um, that you can sign up for within the organization.
Right. So another one. So, how do you handle this kind of feeling when you're at the middle of the work, then suddenly you don't want to continue on what you're doing anymore because you think it's so hard? This is my number one problem when I'm at the middle of the work that I need to cancel.
I think we all have gone through that situation. And it's like when you're typing and you're so pressured, then you just go, ayoko na, I'm done, right? So it happens to everyone. So that's very much understandable. But I think that's why it's important to take breaks, right? I know that there's a lot of pressure in completing a task during at the end of the day, right? But you have to understand that you have to take a break so that you can actually complete that task. You have to step back, don't pressure yourself, and really just calm down and say, okay, I just need to take a break first, but after 15 minutes, I'm going to complete this. Or let's say if it helps you, you can talk to a person. You can rant to that person like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired already. I can't complete this right now." And just let everything out to that person. And then once everything's out, you're like, "Okay, I think I'm done na. I can complete this task." Really letting out those feelings that hinder you from completing your task. So talk to someone. You can have that conversation why you're feeling stressed. Maybe they can help you and give you advice on still completing the task. And of course, number two is really taking a break. You have to really calm your mind and so that you can complete your task already. So it's more of handling your feelings is really just taking a break for me. It's always take a step back. Always take a step back when you feel overwhelmed.
Right. So I think let's have a question. Is it truly important for us to train ourselves alone in order to progress when it comes to our personal development?
Hmm. Well, personally, I think that the best person that knows you best is yourself, right? So they I mean, you can train yourself to have personal development. But again, there are certain factors that can inspire you to continue your personal development. So those are things that inspire you to become a better person by joining, let's say, trainings, right? Or webinars like this. um, this is by joining this webinar, actually you are also learning something new, so that's also an increase in your personal development, right? So you have to look into things that can still help you develop even further. So joining webinars, certain seminars or trainings that you can get involved. Again, the internet is very much present, so you can sign up for, let's say, a free training online. You can look into webinars that can learn a new skill. You can learn a new sport. You can always look into your personal development.
All right. So I think
yourself,
last one, ma'am.
right?
So okay, so
So
what can you
it's
advise? I'm sorry. So what can you advise, ma'am, to those students who think they are late in life because of this pandemic? Because I knew someone to take work instead, continue study to just to work the life they want.
Yeah. So for me, that's really your own personal way of seeing yourself, right? Um, what do you want to complete, right? If you're a student, do you want to complete your schooling and graduate from school, or do you want to work right away? For me, it really depends on how you see yourself, right? And I don't think that it's never too late to do something. So don't pressure yourself and think that they think that they're late in life because of the pandemic. The pandemic will be present for we don't know how long, but it's how you see yourself um, progress. Your personal, again, connecting to the last question, it's your personal development, right? What certain goal do you have in mind that you would like to reach? Is it looking for a job right away? Is it graduating from school? So it's understanding your situation and working with it, because we can't do anything about the pandemic, right? It's here. It's how you want to work around the situation that you are in and still reaching your goals.
All right. So thank you so much, Miss Reese. I hope nadami na tulong na ating audience. So
I hope so.
738 na audience na meron tayo, Miss Reese. So thank you, Miss Reese. Thank you for the insights. Well, looking forward to having you back next time.
Thank
So
you so
thank you,
much,
Miss
Roy.
Reese, and stay safe.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.
Bye. Bye, ma'am. Ayan, so I've been reading a lot of comments na for those who have anxiety. I think it's normal, guys, lalo ngayong pandemic, because I too have an anxiety. I'm a psychology graduate, and at the time I was still in denial na I have anxiety. So I think darating at darating meron kang kakagalitan ka ng anxiety sooner or later. Pero which is not normal is you give up easily. So ang natutunan ko what makes your anxiety worse is coming in denial. So I think you have to face those problems and weaknesses that you have. And nasa sa'yo. Hindi ko naman sinasabi na yung bagay mag-work sa akin, mag-work sa akin. Okay, so keep on fighting. Third year pa lang kayo, nakikita ko po na third year audience natin. So, isang taon pa kayo muna or I'm not sure. So, laban lang guys. Okay? So, thank you so much RTU for listening. So, I hope marami po kayong natutunan. And guys, I'm not really sure kung may evaluation link na ibibigay si Sir Dong later. But thank you so much for participating. And there you have it, everyone. So before we end today's session, we would like to thank everyone who participated, joined, watch our live session via Facebook and YouTube. Okay, so we would like to thank CEO for being one of our corporate sponsors also for this event. So please check out the CEO store in Lazada and shop here at least the nearest mall in your area to shop for your corporate library. So for career opportunities, you may also visit also on jobs180.com/CEO. Okay, so please watch out for the next set of webinars that we are hosting for. And meron ulit part 3 CRT webinar po ha. Sa August 5. Okay, so again, please check out our Facebook page for the topics that will be discussed, and you are welcome guys to join in those sessions. So please stay and keep motivated guys, para hindi lang puro kayo add to cart, makapag-check out rin kayo. Yan yung pinakamalaking motivation. Kaya makapag-check out ng mga nasa cart nyo. Okay, so thank you so much. See you and have a great afternoon. Stay safe, everyone.